middle of that spectrum that you need to spend money on, whether it's uniforms for work or things like that, whereby you can try find cost savings. So instead of buying, the premium brand or whatever it is, you can go for maybe the generic brand.
Store brand, baby.
Yeah, store brand is okay.
That's what it's at.
You can go to Woolies or Coles or, okay, let's make it more relevant. You can go to Spar or Bon Marché and you can either buy, the Kellogg's cornflakes, or you can buy the home brand cornflakes.
Right.
Truth be told, from, our studies of economics, we know that 9 times out of 10 is the exact same product that's inside the box.
That's right.
And it's just a strategy for the manufacturer to use excess capacity. So they employ the supermarket, the retailer, to package their own goods in the home brand and sell the exact same things, probably at a different, well, definitely at a different price.
Right.
At a discount to the premium brand. So there's things like that you can try to find cost savings on. And then I guess when it comes to necessities, well, as the name implies, there's probably not much you can do around necessities. These are things like your water, your electricity, there's
food,
stuff
like that. But I guess with your necessities, you can be smart with how you do your necessities. So like what you're explaining with the cereal. And by the way, it doesn't matter what store brand you shout out. My listeners are not just in Zim.
Global, baby.
So some people will not even understand what you, even when you said about period, I was like, okay, all right.
Yes. Whatever that means.
Whatever that means. That's all good. Okay, so that's the sort of practical stuff that we're looking for. Now, let's try and localize it because I am currently in Zim.
Yes.
For now.
Yeah.
Right. So I've had to do a lot of readjusting in my things. But a lot of the times, like what happened to you, you moved from Perth to Sydney.
Yes.
I moved from Perth to Melbourne, Melbourne to Manila, Manila to Harare. And then it's like, whenever you move, you kind of think that these principles don't move with you.
Okay.
Do you think that these principles only work in an environment like where you are in Australia, where you're earning a very good salary, as opposed to someone in Zim where your job would be getting at most $450 a month?
I would say that these principles they probably don't translate as well as they could in an ideal world. But if you find that on a $300 or $400 salary, if you find that you're not saving any of that whatsoever, you're on a slippery slope.
Right.
And it's a very dangerous place to be. I know some people might say there's not as much, so you can't afford to set aside as much. But as I said, the rule of thumb in general is either a third or a half. Right. So if you can find a way to live within that budget and you spend half of what you're earning and then set aside the other half, I think you should be okay.
But TD, I need to get to work, so I've got a car, I'm take public transport, whatever it is.
Yes.
I've got fuel to pay.
Yep.
I've got to have a social life, man.
Yeah.
I can't just be work, sleep, work, sleep, work, sleep.
Yeah.
$450, man, it's tight, dude. Like, what do you want me to do with that?
No, I would say, like, the thing though is, maybe on the one hand, the salaries and rates of pay in Zim versus Australia, they're not on the same level. They're definitely not on the same level.
Hell no, come on.
But in terms of the cost of living, though, it's a fraction of the cost. Yeah, because I find that if I spend $100 on a grocery in Australia, I get a basket, literally a basket of goods.
Yes.
Whereas
especially if you eat meat. Wow.
Yeah.
Or if you want to eat healthy. Oh, it's expensive to eat
organic food and meat. It adds up.
Oil goes for $20 for 2 liters. It's crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then you come to Zim with that same $100. I can buy a trolley of goods, if not 2 trolleys, if I'm lucky. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that if people here are earning a tenth of what people in Australia are earning, or in the UK or in the US, that it'll be exactly 1/10 in terms of the cost of living. It's never like that. Okay. There's always purchasing power parities, right? Whereby it might be in one country's favor over another, the people there, when you try to crunch the numbers, whatever. So I'm just saying that it's cheaper to live here. So you you don't have to spend as much on your groceries, for instance, or your fuel or whatever it is that you need day to day, whether it's rent or whatever it is.
And the thing is, over here we don't have mortgages, and stuff like that. In the Philippines, a lot of people can't even think of mortgages. For one, everything is about apartments, and apartments are really expensive. So you don't actually have a lot of really stressful expenses. You know, I often find, like, I have some friends and some people out there saying, like, they really want to save to buy a car, but it's so hard doing it when you only earn so much. And I say, well, you earn so much, but, like, you know, it's drinking, partying, all those other things, and you're always taking out money from the car. So you might find it hard, but that's because you have habits that make it hard. Like I was saying to you when I was in the Philippines, it was the habits that made life expensive. Yes, I already had set 3/4 of my pay dedicated to things, right? That was a very foolish investment made from a place of comfort going to a place you don't know. But then still, I think I cooked twice in 2 years. Everything else I ate out. Everything else I ate out. And then I would go out quite a lot and all that other stuff, and I'd find myself at the end of the night saying, I can't afford to do this. But that night I'm out again. Right? So it's like, regardless of where you are, principles are principles. And what people in countries like Zim don't understand, if you've never moved out or you've never lived out there, dude, cost of living here is amazing. It is so amazing. That's why a lot of people in the diaspora often contemplate about wanting to come back. Because you look at how much you're spending, how much you're making, but how much you're spending, and you're no different from someone in Zim and someone in us. You're no different. Only difference is maybe Chris Brown comes on tour.
Right? Only difference.
Only difference, right? So you might be able to go to a Chris Breezy concert, but so what? You know, you still have a lot of things that you could do. Maybe not as much, but you could still certainly do good things for yourself.
And I'd agree with that 100%. And like you said, there's certain habits that you can develop, and you touched on this earlier in terms of, you know, you're going to work, and instead of, you know, splurging on the Thai food or the Malaysian food every day for $12-15, maybe you can make yourself a sandwich.
That's right.
Eat. Maybe instead of, you know, grabbing that morning coffee at your favorite barista, you can make your own coffee at the office for free. Maybe instead of going out for dinner at night, you can go home and cook your own meal, your own wholesome, delicious, home-cooked meal.
That's
and
right.
you can save money. And then the
You
biggest
can stretch
one...
that meal over 2 days, so that's lunch for work tomorrow as well.
Exactly, you got it. That's right. That's right. And then on top of that, probably the one that people don't really want to talk about is, the partying culture, the drinking, and whatever else. I mean, alcohol in itself is probably... this might be going off topic, but this is...
No, it's still relevant.
No, let's talk about this, right?
Yeah.
Alcohol is the biggest myth that we have in modern day society, whereby people feel like they need to or have to drink in order to have fun. And I'm here to tell you that that's absolute rubbish. You do not need to drink to enjoy yourself. You can go out and just enjoy other people's company, enjoy conversations. And in fact, I dare you, I challenge you to...
Oh, snap, it's a shalounge.
Is that a shalounge? That's right. I challenge you to stop drinking for a while. At any stage or age in your life, just maybe take a few weeks off, a few months off, maybe a few years. I ended up going about 2 years myself without drinking. And I got to experience life, probably for the first time in a long time. And I was able to engage in conversations with all sorts of people from all walks of life, and see the sorts of behavior that probably I might typically engage in if I was drunk or inebriated. And I realized that that's no way to live. And I mean, there's so many reasons why you probably shouldn't drink, but a good reason, as far as, you know, the financial aspect goes, is expensive, and it adds up, and it's definitely not in any way, shape, or form a necessity to anyone's life.
That's right. And you often find, this is going to sound like we're judging, but it's just facts. You often find that some people feel obligated almost that it's a waste of a night if you can go home and remember what you did.
Yeah.
You know, that in order for you to enjoy yourself, you've got to do that. But I guess, you know, it ties into the financial aspect of it. But I think also when you're parting to the point where it is affecting your finances, you have an issue on your hands that's no different from someone with a drinking problem, smoking problem, an addiction, whatever. Because when the things that you do for fun start to affect your ability to live your life, you've gone overboard, right? And I think that whether you have to be a person of discipline just to ensure that you never get to that point where your actual life is affected by the choices that you make, because life is too short not to enjoy it, man. And I guess if you're trying to get to that place where, for me, on the triangle that you mentioned, I don't need to bless the world. Like, I don't have that much love for humans, but I do like that stage in the triangle where I have enough for the people around me. I want to be able to send my niece to school. I want to be able to give a guy with potential grant money to start his business. I want to be able to get there. That's for me. That's where let's say I'm done. I'm like, I'm capping it off. I'm cool. Yeah. Where do you want to stop?
I want to change the world.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an ideal for me. I know it's probably not as realistic as people think, but there's obviously people that have come before us and done it before us. They have shared, their wisdom, whether it's, Warren Buffett, as I mentioned, or Bill Gates, in terms of the millions that they've made. But I feel like the majority of people that do have, world-changing money tend not to do that. I mean, they do it in some way, shape, or form, through Facebook or through Microsoft or whatever. But in terms of, let's end world hunger, let's finally accomplish world peace, things like that. Things like that remain an ideal. And I feel like we're going to have to do this ourselves. I'm going to have to take matters into our own hands if that's the sort of change, the positive change you want to see in our communities and in our world.
That's big talk, my friend. And what I always say to people who come on any of my shows is, you've put it out there, bro. So we're going to be checking. In 20 years' time, if this platform still exists, I don't want to be like, hey, so TD, what's up? What's going on? And you're like, still trying to pay off that bill, man. Sure. So you put it out, but I do wish you all the best in there. We've got 2 minutes left.
Thank you.
So let's wrap up the principles. What were your 2 principles that you brought to the table?
So we said savings. So you have to set aside, X amount of your pay. And I guess the other one would be to look for ways to either supplement your income or to find ways that you can curb your expenditure. Right.
And mine were to live within your means, right, and to find a purpose for your money. And I guess with those 4 principles brought to you in part by us too, and other things, I'm sure you can handle your finances quite well. TD, it's been a blast, man.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm sure all the human beings out there feeling blessed, and if you're not, you're racist. But thank you so much for coming through. Hopefully we can get you on another show.
Absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Please like, share, comment, all those other things. You know what to do.
You know what it is.